Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. In this video, I will be swatching out my 100% Daniel Smith only palette. Now, you've seen me pour this palette before on my channel, but I finally had a sit-down moment to swatch them all out and create a nice little swatch card as a reference for when I'm painting. Now, the first color I already went ahead and put down, which is the Hansa Yellow Light by Daniel Smith. As you can see, I like to pre-wet the area where I'm going to be swatching out my paint because it makes them flow a little bit easier, which makes the gradient look more, well, pretty in my opinion, but more flawless in transitioning. It does, however, have the effect that the mass tone of the color that I'm using might turn out, a little diluted and not 100% close to mass tone. So keep that in mind when you're watching me swatch these out. Now here I go in and I make a mistake that is still annoying me to this very day when using this palette. I filmed this a while back, so that's why it still annoys me now. I went ahead and I turned this around. I should have made the mass tone up top, but I did it in the bottom, and well, it just kind of annoys me now. But I tried lifting it, as you can see right here, but it really wouldn't budge, so that's fine. I just went with it, I rolled with it, and I left this Pyrrol Scarlet where it was. The color you saw me swatch out before that was the Nickel Azo Yellow by Daniel Smith. I'm gonna stop saying Daniel Smith every time because you guys already know that it's all Daniel Smith paints. This is the Quinacridone Rose, and as you can see, I skip a section of the swatch card every time because I do pre-wet them and I don't want them to bleed into each other because I want to keep the colors as clean as possible so I don't have any bleeding, mixing going on my swatch card. I really want to know what the colors are like on their own. Moving on with a color that is one of my favorites, Imperial Purple. I haven't worked with it much, but it is such a pretty color. It's like a little bit of blue and pink mixed together, which obviously gives you purple, but you can also see them separately on the color swatch card if you look closely. So here I go and try to edit that Quinacridone Rose a little bit so the Quinacridone Magenta, which will be there, won't blend in with it or layer with it, but yeah, it was already stuck, so just kind of left it there. Moving on, we have the French Ultramarine, and they do say that the Ultramarine, of course, is a granulating color, and you guys already know that I love granulation, but compared to the other granulating colors, my totally granulating watercolor set, which I'll leave a link to somewhere over here, compared to that, this hardly granulates, but I mean, yeah, it doesn't strike me as particularly granulating. So if you like that in a paint, then maybe this French Ultramarine by Daniel Smith is not for you. Now, talking of granulation, there we have the Green Apatite Genuine, which is a genuine Daniel Smith color, and there have been some, has been some commotion, I should say, about the percentage of minerals actually added in there, but I'm just gonna leave that where it is, and I'll maybe touch on it in another video, but not here. Then after that, we have the Undersea Green, which I swatched out, which is also granulating green with a little bit of hint of blue in there. And then the last one you saw me put on there was the Indigo. Very nice, deep blue color. Heading back while I just touch up the swatches I did there. The Green Apatite Genuine is actually a pretty vibrant green, and looking at it now, I would say it has some maybe PBK 11 in there, so some granulating black pigments. So it's lovely. It just didn't have enough space on my granulating palette to add that there. Moving on with the color I put down just now. That was the new Gamboge. So nice deep yellow. And now adding the Aussie Red Gold color, which, yeah, red gold kind of describes it. Orangey. I don't know. I don't have... Let's just keep it at red gold. That's fine. That's fine. That'll do. Now, actually, I got a lot of these paints that I put in this palette. I got them in sets. So I have the Jean Haynes set, and then the basics set from Daniel Smith, you know, the mixing set, I think it's called. And I added some colors that I did buy separately later, but mostly set paints. So that's why, you know, I might have some colors here that I might not gravitate towards that much, but it does represent the complete rainbow range, if you will. Now, the previous color was the opera pink and the Quinacridone Magenta, so super bright pink, and a more muted purpley pinkish. And then adding now is an absolute staple of the work I'm currently making, is Moonglow. It is a granulating paint, and it is super pretty and pretty well known as well around the internet for being nice and people wanting to particularly get this Daniel Smith paint. Then after that, next to the French Ultramarine, we are adding the Phthalo Blue. I think that's how you say it. It is a paint that really spreads quite easily. It has a nice flow, some bright blue in there. Yeah, pretty. Haven't used it much to this day, but yeah, it's pretty. While finishing that, I have to mention I've been working on some more horror-themed pieces lately, and that Moonglow comes in handy. It is a great nighttime sky. It is a great granulating pigment to add a little bit of depth without actually using black. This one adding in now is the Cascade Green, which is also in the Jean Haynes set, I believe. Just as the green Apatite Genuine and the Undersea Green. So they were in that set. I didn't purchase them separately. This is the Lunar Blue, which also comes in that set. So it's quite a versatile set because it also has Moonglow in there. The Opera Pink is from the set. Aussie Red Gold is from that set, I believe. So it's really a nice set. You should really check it out if it's within your budget, of course. I mean, these are not the end-all be-all of paints. You can very well make pretty work without these paints. But if you're interested, that set really was something that I was really happy with. Now, the last but not least is the Lunar Black. It's a very heavily granulating black pigment, which spreads beautifully. And I have been adding it to a lot of those horror-themed pieces I just mentioned as well. So lovely to work with, and I'm quite bummed that the Lunar Black and Lunar Blue and the green Apatite Genuine and the Moonglow, of course. So all those granulating colors aren't in my fully granulating set. So I am considering, if I run out of some of the paint in the wells, then maybe leave those empty and go for a bigger, totally granulating palette later. But, you know, for now, I just poured these palettes, so I am not even getting it in my brain to redo all of that and just work with what I have right now. Even if that turns out that I have 3 palettes on my desk while working. It is what it is. So if we look closely, it is a very pretty range of watercolors covering all of the rainbow spectrum, some granulating, some not granulating. All in all, a very versatile palette. Now here I'm adding in some extra saturation to the undersea green, because that really, it can darken a lot more, and I knew that, so I just really wanted to show that on my swatch card to you guys, but also to myself, to see what that deepest color is that I can get with that. So yay, now it is finished. Completed swatch card. I wrote down the names of the colors, and I'm trying to show you pretty slowly what these colors look like. Now, I know the Daniel Smith paints are pretty expensive and not in everyone's price range. So let me just say one more time that even though I am super happy with these paints and to be able to have them in my collection, they are not necessary for creating great art, watercolor art of any kind. So it's nice to have, but no paint is worth getting in depth over or being seduced into purchasing something that you at this time do not need. Now, with that said, we are nearing the end of this video, but I can't let you guys leave without the YouTube original sentences. If you like this video, then consider giving it a like or commenting, or maybe even subscribing to my channel, because it does really help. Thanks, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye!